Over the past few weeks, I've been thinking about my journey and how I got to where I am now. If you guys don't know, in the next week here, I'm moving from Canada, Toronto to Portugal for the winter. And I'm lucky enough to be able to do that while supporting myself with an online business. It really got me thinking over the past couple years how I ended up getting to where I am. Obviously, it reminded me a lot of some of the mistakes that I've made and also some of the things that I've done correctly in the past couple of years here. It also got me thinking about the whole landscape of Amazon and e-commerce and how everything has changed. I was wondering if I was starting from the beginning, would I do everything the same to get where I am now? And the answer in 2021 is probably no, right? I don't think if I did everything I did back then, I would get to where I am now. So it got me thinking, you know what, if I lost everything and if I had to start from scratch, someone who was getting started from completely zero, what would I do and how would I rebuild to where I am now and even surpass myself going into the future? So I'm happy to present to you guys my 8-step process, everything I would do if I was starting from zero and how I would build up from there. This is something that I wish, again, I had. That's what I do here on the channel. If you guys are new, I kind of put off videos that I wish I had when I was starting off to help me with the whole process. And I'm sure that along the way, I hope it helps some of you guys too. All right, so let's dive into the computer and I'll show you how to start with zero, what I would do if I had to start from scratch in 2021. The 8-part iterative strategy. Part 1 of 8, we're gonna start off with the fundamentals and the basics, and we're gonna build up from there. Because if you just skip to the end of this video, you're really not going to get any value from this. So let's start off with the basics and build up from there. The first thing I would do is I would right away start living with less. I would cancel all the things like Netflix and all the stuff that I do not need on a regular basis and start to save as much money as possible. Okay, a lot of people who don't have much to spend at all are the ones who spend the most. Okay, that's something I've realized from my friend group, and something that you realize just from being around people. People who don't necessarily have the money are the ones who are buying those Mercedes and all that kind of stuff. All right, I would stop buying new phones. I would stop going to Starbucks. I would stop eating out for lunch. All that kind of stuff. I think while those are niceties, they're not something you absolutely need to be doing right now because every penny counts in this particular aspect. We are going to be saving up money to start a business. When I was first starting off, I didn't have any money. And so I had to save. And this is something that's very important when you do start off. Cut out all non-necessary expenses. I know a lot of you guys are probably pretty frugal anyways, but I know that some people might need to hear this. And myself included, this is something that, when I was first starting off, something I needed to hear also. Save the money to invest in your future. Super simple step. This is the basics, the fundamentals. All right. Part 2 of 8. Get a job. And I know that sounds super counterproductive, especially from me, as someone who's, preaches entrepreneurship and working for yourself and, just putting in the work for yourself rather than from somebody else. But the truth is, if you're always worried about how you're going to make money or put, food on the table, then you're never going to be able to be comfortable with risk. And so that's going to be obviously a big problem. I don't want you guys, starving or putting your last penny on the line for a business that, of course, isn't guaranteed. So I would say get a job and preferably get a sales job. We're going to go into that in a little bit, just so I can explain what I mean by that, right? Can't focus on your business if you're worried about feeding your family. Remember not to get too comfortable in your job. I've had friends who have seen the success I've had on Amazon and online, and they've wanted to recreate that and ask for my help to do that as well. And obviously I'm super happy to do that. So I would help them, but I tell them, listen, you need some money to get started. You need some money to invest in yourself. Go get a job. I had in particular a friend who became a waiter. And as a waiter, it's not amazing money, but you get tips and you do decently well. What ended up happening is they got super, super comfortable and I guess the pain of not having a business, or rather the pain of starting a business was greater than the pain they were feeling from their job. And so they got too comfortable and never actually ended up taking any steps forward. So remember, at the back of your head, you're doing this not just to work a job, but to be able to invest in your own business. All right. And I said, ideally get a sales job. The reason I say this is because when I first started, entrepreneurship, one of the things that I wanted to do was put myself out of my comfort zone. So I went, and I started a, window cleaning business. We went door to door and knocking, learning how to sell to people and understanding the psychology behind sales and why people buy, why people don't. And the reason I did that was, one, obviously because you finally take ownership for everything in your life, right? Because if I was going out and I didn't make a sale for the window cleaning, then I wouldn't make any money that day. Whereas with a regular job, you can just go there, show up, and just waste time and, eventually come home and you'll get a paycheck no matter what. But once you take responsibility for yourself in a job, you really, and you hold yourself accountable, right? That's a skill that's really, really good when you move on in life. And that's exactly what I did. And I think it has taught me invaluable lessons and also builds your courage and your just, I guess, self-belief in yourself, if that makes sense. I remember when I was first starting off, my heart would beat at the door. I literally, my voice would shake and it was bad. But you slowly build that confidence. You slowly build the ability to sell to people and understand the sales psychology, which is going to help you in literally any business you go into. So if you don't have a job yet, look for a sales job. Look for a commission sales job. It's really going to set you up for success. Part 3 of 8 is do your research. All right. So for myself, I was just starting off. I think, okay, what exact business model do I want to start? Listen, there's a ton of business models out there. Obviously here we're an Amazon FBA channel. If you don't know about Amazon FBA, go check out, my channel, my videos. There's so many, super in-depth tutorials on how to start an Amazon business and all about that, right? But there are a lot of business truthfully to what you can start, and there's a lot of people who are successful in many businesses. So do your research and figure out exactly what it is that you want to start. I personally obviously would start with an Amazon FBA business or like a physical products brand business that I'd start on Amazon. So that's definitely something I think that nowadays is probably your best bet to seeing, any success online. Now, once you decide, what business model you want to do, consume all the content about that model and learn everything you can for free. Okay, that means doing YouTube searches. That means reading Reddit and articles and blogs and everything that you can to really understand and piece together kind of the puzzle. Okay, and I would really recommend you do that. And so even if you spend a few weeks just all day researching, it's really going to help you out. There's a lot of amazing free content on the channel and just online in general. Tons of people putting out really useful stuff, right? Another thing is to join Facebook groups and talk to people, because there's only so much you can learn from actual like watching videos and stuff like that. But sometimes you have questions, you have things you want to know more about, and joining a Facebook group is really going to help you with that. So I'm going to leave a link to our Facebook group. It's an Amazon FBA Facebook group. It's completely free to join. You can come in there, you can interact with me, the community. We have about 8,000 people in there, and it's super active and awesome. So I really, really recommend you join that. And I'd love to, kind of meet you there. Just come in, say, hey, I watched your video, I joined, and I'll make sure to reply, because that's pretty awesome. So that's one thing I would also say is just go learn from people, and that's really going to accelerate your learning. All right. Part 4 of 8. So now, we've built the foundations. We know what model we're going to do, what business model we're going to put everything behind. And what you want to do now is start with lower demand products. Start small. Okay. That's kind of maybe a better way to say it. So the rest of this thing, we're going to talk about how I would start my Amazon business and what the steps I would take and the strategy I would take to actually make it happen. So when I say start with a lower demand product or start with start small, it might again sound counterproductive, because you might think, listen, I'm here not to start small. I want to change my life. I want to change the life of my family, and I want to, see real success. So you obviously want to go for a product that is, high demand, low competition. It's going to make you, change your life with one product. And while that is possible, I don't think that's the best way to go about it. And we're going to, dive a little bit deeper into why that is in a little bit. But essentially, you want to go for lower demand products. And here's the reason. Products have a life cycle, right? And our goal is to extend the life cycle as much as we can. So I have a graph after this that I'm going to show. It's kind of the product life cycle and how it works. A lot of people don't talk about this, but when you launch a product in general in the world, what's going to happen is, you're going to have the first phase where it's going to start to pick up momentum, then it's going to start selling well, and then it's going to come to maturity where it's going to sell really well, and then, after a little while, it just dies and, declines. And so this is the life cycle with any product, whether it's 6 months, the whole life cycle, or 1 year, or 5 years, or 10 years, that's what you can control. And that's what we want to control, right? We want to extend the life cycle as much as we can. If you really don't do anything, you don't plan anything, the life cycle of your product could be 1 year. So it makes you money for 1 year, and then after that, it just dies. And so the way we do that is we're going to do it through a very specific type of scaling strategy. We're going to extend the life cycle of all our products by growing them in a specific way. And so what that means is we're going to be growing our brand and our business horizontally rather than vertically. And what I mean by that is instead of growing your products like, for example, having one product that makes $50,000 per month, you now look for, 10 products that make $5,000 per month. And that way you're going to be able to grow all your products. So you launch all your products and then you grow them together as a brand and you elevate the whole brand rather than working on each individual product to raise it up like that. And so the reason for that is because there's less, competition that way. There's less headache. There's less stress. Overall, it's a much better strategy, especially going to 2021, than to just go after those big single home run, high ticket, items where they're just going to be making you a ton of money. Those products usually saturate quickly and have a very low upside because they have a very low product life cycle. And so I have a friend of mine, okay? His dad got into Amazon because, we taught him some stuff and he liked the model, he got into Amazon. And his product life cycle, because he did it the way I'm talking about right now, his product now has thousands of reviews and it makes him, $15,000, $20,000 a month, every month for the past, 3 years or 4 years. And the reason is because it started small, but then it grew up into a 15 or 20,000, a home run, high profit, product. But it started small and then grew into that rather than starting, in that and then declining. And, that's literally the perfect example of, a great product. Obviously I can't share with you what it is because it's still making money now, but he has extended life cycle to a point where this product has been selling for 3 years and I see it selling for many, many more years to come. So what we do, look for lower demand products, scale horizontally, and then bring up the brand and elevate it. If you get stuck at this point, right, and you're not confident in picking your product or building out your brand or mapping this whole process out, one of the best things I would say is seek out a mentor or a program or someone who can help you, right? Because I'd say that 95% of people who end up joining, my program and working with me, they're people who have tried this on their own or got stuck or, have already failed, because they decided, hey, you know what? I know this product's gonna be good. And then when they go and launch it and they put in the, money and they do everything, it just doesn't work. And it's because of this process right here. It's because they didn't map it out properly. They didn't do the calculations properly. They didn't pick the right product. And so that's where I would say 95% of people who come into my program, that's where they are. So if you get stuck here, don't just move forward, look for somebody who can help you. That would be my best advice on this one. Now, here is the product life cycle that I was talking about. So you start off with development, intro, growth, and you can see as the sales increase as the time goes on. But then at a certain point, the sales go down. That's for one product, and that's if you're scaling vertically and you just put all your eggs into one basket. If you end up scaling horizontally and you have a whole bunch of products that elevate the brand as a whole, the whole brand will then continue to increase. And so that's what I would do right now. I'd find if you can't think of 15 or 20 products to extend your product line, you probably aren't doing it correctly. Because right now I have a case study product that I'm, hopefully going to be able to share with you guys very soon. But I'm launching a new brand, and already right now I know the next 15 products we're going to launch. I don't know necessarily which order, but I know 15 products that we can launch in this space. Might not be the highest revenue products, but they're going to elevate our brand. And like I said, hopefully I'll be able to share this in the future with you guys. If you want to know more about that, remember to subscribe because, if I put that stuff out, you'll definitely want to see it. Now, part 5 of 8, grow horizontally. Now we're really going to dive deep on this. Find your brand and map out your trajectory. You want to know the next 15, 20 products, basically what I was saying. You want to do 250 to 350 units and for each product, and you want to do one product at a time per month. So every month you hopefully want to be able to launch one product, have it kind of like a conveyor belt with 250 to 350 units, rather than what we were doing before, which is to invest 1,000 or 1,500 units into one product. You really want to grow horizontally at this point. And I think, like I said, I will be releasing that case study in a little while to show you that kind of this whole thing in action. Also, obviously, because now there are inventory limits, this is super important for new sellers. This strategy now is even more effective than it was, especially going into 2020. Again, because you cannot bring in 1,000 units of one product. You have to kind of split that up into 200 unit, kind of fragments. So that's what I would really, do in this point too. Now, because of these inventory limits, a lot of people have been asking me to do some sort of a, launch sequence for how you would launch with only 200 units. Because obviously 200 units is not a lot of units to work with. So if you guys want to see this, leave a like down below. Basically, that's just to show me that you want to see this video, and I'll get it out to you guys as soon as possible. Last time I asked for like a like goal, which was last video. I asked for 50 likes in I think it was 24 hours, and we got like way more than that. So let's shoot for 75 likes in 24 hours. That way I'll know, hey, put out this video right away because that's what you guys want to see. If not, I'll understand that you guys don't want to see it. But that is that. Now here I have another graph that I made. It doesn't look very pretty, but you have on the left side you have sales, on the right side you have products. This is again how to grow horizontally, kind of visualized. Product 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not making a crazy amount of money, but there's a lot of them and they add up. Like I said, more sustainable, less risk, less stress. And also, less hijackings and just so many less problems. On the right, you have, one product making a lot more money, but then if Amazon takes it down, if, someone hijacks it, if just so many things, right? If anything happens to this one product, your whole business goes to shit, right? And so if anything happens to the product on the left, one of the 4, yeah, it's going to suck, but it's only 25% of your business and you can always recoup that. Whereas on the right, it is literally 100% of your business. So that's just kind of another way to visualize there. Part 6 of 8. We're getting down to the good stuff here. We're talking about good branding and brand extension. This is going to be by far the most important thing if you're growing horizontally, is you need to have like I said, your brand extension and have good branding, because that's how you're going to elevate all your products and all your brands. So with one product, branding is obviously very important, but when it's just one product, it doesn't matter that much. When you're growing a whole line of products, your branding is exponential, because the more they see your products, the more they see the branding, the more likely they are to purchase from you. And once they purchase from you, to stay a loyal customer. All right. So, when you're growing horizontally, it's the most important thing. Doesn't matter about Facebook, Instagram, any of that, right? Amazon branding is the end all be all. So don't worry about making a Facebook page or an Instagram account or any of that bullshit. Like, yeah, you will want to do it later on. But at first, especially when you're on Amazon, invest all your money, time, and effort into elevating your brand that way on the platform. Better pictures, better branding, graphic design, for your packaging, for your product, for literally everything, okay? And that's gonna be your best use and your best investment. Have everything planned. Know how you're gonna scale, know which product's first, which product's second, which product's third. You don't need to go to product 15, but you have to have, like I said, everything mapped out. Also, when you are picking a niche in this space, right? Don't be afraid of products with high reviews. If they have, 300 or 500 or 600 reviews, that does not mean that niche or market is not worth to go into. It might not be the best to go into with one product, but if you're going a brand of 5, 10, 15 products, it's okay to go in a space like that, because you're going to, like I said, be elevating everything with your brand. Now, if you're worried about, how do I know if a product or market is too competitive or a niche is worth going into or not, I use this rule. It's a 2/3 rule, okay? If there are 2 out of the top 3 competitors that have over 1,000 reviews, then it's not worth going into, right? But if one of them has 1,000 and one of them has 600, and then the third one has 300, then that's a totally fine market to go into. A lot of people would say that's actually a very competitive market, but again, it's not if you're growing horizontally, all right? Each product doesn't need to make $20,000. It's okay if each product makes $5,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. That's the goals that you're looking for. And right here, I have an example of an amazing branded product, which is Coffee Gator. Okay, it's just a great example. Basically, they're in pretty competitive space, which is the coffee space, right? But these guys are crushing it just because they go out, they have amazing branding, they and they continue to launch products and kind of cleave products that don't do well, right? If you launch a product with 200 units, eventually sells out, but it wasn't a good seller, you don't need to restock it. Just move on to the next product and see what sticks, right? And so if I open up the Helium 10 here, you can see that they have a very natural distribution to their products, right? They have one product 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, 7,000, 8,000, 7,000, 9,000, 7,000, right? And then one that's 527. So obviously, this product right here would be probably one that, after you wouldn't restock. You just, kind of let go of it and launch something else. But this is a very normal distribution for a great branded brand with horizontal, kind of scaling. And so this is really what you want your products to look like. Now, I wouldn't say aim for $40,000 or $28,000 per month products, but when you launch, 10, 20, 30 products, you will end up getting products that grow into those home run products like I mentioned. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you have a product that is $40,000 per month. And so this is, kind of exactly what you're looking for. You want to look for products in this range right here, from 7,000 to 9, 10,000. That's your golden sweet spot. And so this is just kind of a testament to how good the branding is and why this product has done well in such a competitive space. Now, part 7 of 8, which I call world domination. Obviously, I'm joking about this a little bit, but it kind of reflects the strategy here. So once you have about 7-ish products, you want to expand by market. Okay, so once you have 7 to 10 products, you already have a distribution chain, a distribution network set up for your products, and you're probably making pretty decent money on Amazon depending on which market you started on. It's now time to expand the market. So that doesn't mean forget about the original market, but it means take everything you've built on one market and start transferring them to all the other markets. So this is the order that I think you should expand in. If you start in the US, which I recommend most people do, the only exception there is if you live in the UK, I would say your best bet's probably to start in the UK, selling in the UK. But if you're anywhere else in the world, sell in the US marketplace. So step 1 is US/UK, meaning if you start in the US, move to the UK. If you start in the UK, move to the US, okay? Then after that, you wanna go to Canada. The reason I say Canada over any other one is because it's an English-speaking, market. So it's easier to do customer support and all that kind of stuff. So it's an easy one to go into. It's not a huge market, but it's definitely one you should go into. After that, then go into Germany, and then you can pick whichever ones you want afterward. But this is a really crucial order in this step because obviously Germany is a big one too. But there are downsides to going into a German market, aka you're gonna have to hire out help for customer support, writing your listings, and all this kind of stuff. Because if you don't speak German, that's gonna be a tough one, right? So, like I mentioned, distribution chain is already set up, very, very easy to scale vertically now. So we all scaled horizontally, and now we can scale vertically in all the different marketplaces. And so that's world domination phase part 7 of 8. All right. Now part 8 of 8, which is world domination part 2. And what you're looking to do here is actually start to hire out help, after the first kind of world domination phase, because like I mentioned, you're going to need to get people to, customer service and customer support and all this kind of stuff. What I'd recommend you do is go to onlinejobs.ph, and this is actually a website where you can hire out virtual assistants from the Philippines. If you don't know what virtual assistants are, basically they just can help you with literally anything. They're just employees from all around the world. In this case, I would really recommend going to this website. I've had good success here, and they're pretty cheap and pretty good at what they do, especially if you train them properly. And so in this phase, you want to hire out customer service, and you can even teach them how to optimize your campaigns for PPC. You can teach them how to find new products and the criteria they're looking for. There's a whole bunch of people, and VAs who have had experience with Amazon and can really help you with e-commerce and stuff like that. So it's absolutely awesome. But I'd only really get into this when you're, getting into that world domination phase where you're expanding to different markets, and you're going to need to hire out some help to help you with all the work that you now have. And like I mentioned, I'm actually going through all these steps right now, and we'll be making a case study in the next few months showing that this stuff that I'm saying here actually works, right? I know a lot of people just say stuff and it's not provable. It's not nothing that, there's nothing of substance there, but I want to be different, and that's why I'm going to be showing you guys in the next few months. I'm going to be putting out case study videos to show you that everything I'm showing here, I'm going to be implementing and showing you and proving to you that this stuff all works now in 2021. So if you don't want to miss any of those case studies, remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything, and also leave a like on the video. I really appreciate that, and it really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.